నమస్తే, నేను మీ గోపి. వెల్కమ్ బ్యాక్ టు మనం టీవీ. ప్రస్తుతం మనం చూసుకోవచ్చు, నిజాం కాలం అంటే మన చిన్నపిల్లల దగ్గర నుంచి మనం పాటల్లో చదువుకుని ఉంటాము. సో ఆ పేరు అయితే బాగా వైరల్ అయినప్పుడు నిజాం 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 అనేది. ఇప్పుడు ఆ నిజాం వారసులు ఇంకా ఉన్నారా అనేది అందరికీ ఒక డౌట్ అయితే ఉంది. సో ప్రస్తుతం అయితే నిజాం అయితే ఇంకా ఉన్నారు. సో వాళ్ళ వారసులు లోపల ఉన్నారు. అదేవిధంగా ఇప్పుడు మనం చూసుకోవచ్చు ద నిజాం ఎరా. సో వీళ్ళందరూ కలిసి ఒక చిన్న సెలబ్రేషన్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు. అదేవిధంగా ఈ సెలబ్రేషన్లోనే కొంతమంది పూర్ పీపుల్కి కొంచెం డొనేట్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నారు. సో మనం చూసుకోవచ్చు, ఇదే ద నిజాం ఎరా 1724 నుంచి 2024 వరకు ఇప్పుడున్న నిజాం కాలంలో ఉన్న ఎవరైతే రాజులు ఉన్నారో సో వాళ్ళ రాజులు ఇంకా మిగిలే ఉన్నారన్నట్టుగా మనకి అయితే ఉంది. సో ఒకసారి లోపలికి వెళ్దాము. చాలామంది వాళ్ళ కుటుంబం సంబంధించిన రాజులు ఇంకా ఉన్నారు, నిజాం రాజులు. ఒకసారి వాళ్ళని వెళ్ళి వాళ్ళతో మనం మాట్లాడే ప్రయత్నం చేద్దాం. అదేవిధంగా ఇక్కడ చిన్న సెలబ్రేషన్ కూడా జరుగుతుంది. ఆ సెలబ్రేషన్ ఏంటో కూడా కనుక్కుందాం రండి.
I'm Raunaq Khan. I have been designated and recognized as the 9th Nizam of the Asif Jahi dynasty by my family. Dynasty is just another word for a royal family, and I am a bit unprepared for this because I was told that this is a seminar of scholars, and I was told to abstain from talking much on this seminar, in this particular seminar, as this is a job reserved for scholars who've researched on the history of the Nizams. It's not like a personal thing, right? It's a historical thing. When the Nizam Qamaruddin came to Hyderbad in 1913 first, but later on not 1713, and after 1724 he stayed here. So somehow the dynasty is counted from that time, from a war he had, which was called Battle of Shakarkheda, with the governor of Hyderabad called Mubadis. So it's marked, his history, his dynasty is marked from there, and he was designated the title of the Asif Jah, and also Nizamul Mulk, which he was earlier. And so I can make a few mistakes because I'm not a historian. So this history is tracked down, and this history is tracked down as a 300-year centenary kind of a celebration, summing up the whole thing from 1724 to now it is 2024, and this is December. So we waited till the end because there were lots of things happening. So we didn't do it in the middle of the year because every day there are new developments, new cases, up to 1948 was the rule of the Nizams. After 1948, the army took over. So there were no more Nizam of Hyderabad because Hyderabad, joined India into an Indian democracy. So there were no more Nizams of Hyderabad because Hyderabad was gone. And in 1971, there's a rule that there were no privileges given to the Nizams or any royal family in India, and so that also included titles and all. So trying to say you're Nizam of Hyderabad is a little, not a very proper way to put it. So I would like to say that I'm the Nizam, 9th Nizam of the Asif Jahi dynasty, as designated by my family. And I wish I could get more time to think. Anyway, so right.
बहुत अच्छा जीते थे. अभी कुछ कैसे है पहले से?
There are different conditions. Some of the Nizams of the direct family who kind of managed to stick on to the property or claim properties, which were sometimes legal and sometimes not even legally, they've done very well for themselves. And some of the family they were not trained to make money for themselves. So some of them are very badly off. So I have to help them. I'm a Nizam now, not for the pomp and splendor of, the old splendor of the Nizams, who was the richest man in the world. And my job is now to look after the family and bring them into the mainstream democratic India. So they can shake off their old past and, think that they're living in a fairy tale world of the Nizams. So they have to now get integrated into society, get jobs and all that, and get their rights also. A lot of properties are stuck with the government, and they don't have a cohesive effort to kind of fight for the properties and all that. So as a head of the family, I'm going to do all that for them.
Why not?
Pardon? Sorry? ये लाइट्स बहुत पावरफुल है भाई, समझ में नहीं आ रहा मेरे को, एकदम कुछ भी नहीं दिख रहा मेरे को, खाली लाइट आंखों में है. सॉरी, क्या बोल रहे हो?
నిజాంలు హైదరాబాద్ ఎన్నుకున్నట్టు
తెలుగు नहीं आती.
నిజాంలు హైదరాబాద్ ఎన్నుకున్నట్టు
everybody stays in Hyderabad. Only one particular Nizam who was designated by his grandfather, he moved to Australia. That reason is unexplained, which I don't think he was very happy, maybe because of the treatment given to him, the troubles he faced from the rest of the family, and maybe the demands of the rest of the family, which were probably valid. And he was not very interested in being here, and he was a very casual person. Maybe he didn't want, either he didn't want the disrespect or the respect given to him. He just wanted to live his life, so he just moved off to Australia. There was just one Nizam, and all the other Nizams were here till the last ruler, Usman Ali Khan. He was the seventh. In fact, after he was even deposed, after he had to give up his seat as the Nizam, he remained as a governor of Hyderabad for several years till he died in 1976 or 67. Sorry.
అప్పట్లో నిజాంకి చాలా ఆస్తులు ఉన్నాయి, కొన్ని ఉన్నాయని.
निजाम को जब प्रॉपर्टी ज़्यादा थे,
Pardon?
निजाम को जब प्रॉपर्टी ज़्यादा थे अब नहीं है।
है कम पहले कैसा रहेंगे, पहले तो रूल उनका था। कई प्रॉपर्टीज़ तो जब शेयर करी, जब इंडिया बना तो प्रॉपर्टीज़ वे शेयर्ड विद इंडिया। सो कई प्रॉपर्टीज़ इंडियन टेरिटरी में चले गए, इंडियन गवर्नमेंट के हो गए। वो जो पब्लिक प्रॉपर्टीज़ थे, जो उनके पर्सनल थे, वो भी कई थे। उसमें क्या करे वो लोग, उनका इतना बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन था उसके रिकॉर्ड्स रखने के लिए, वो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ख़त्म हो गया, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन आ गया इंडिया का। तो अब आपको मालूम है यहाँ पे कैसे रहते, रेवेन्यू के जो डिपार्टमेंट के रहते, कलेक्टर्स वगैरह, वो लोग रिकॉर्ड्स दबा दिए, वो लोग नाम चेंज कर दिए, रिकॉर्ड नहीं रहते, जीतने नहीं रहते, मिस रिप्रेजेंट करते। तो बहुत बड़े प्रॉपर्टीज़ है ना, वो जितने गवर्नमेंट के प्रॉपर्टीज उतने उन लोगों के भी थे। 90,000 स्क्वायर माइल्स था वो। यहाँ हैदराबाद इज़ नॉट हैदराबाद बाय द वे, यहाँ से लेके महाराष्ट्र पूरा औरंगाबाद हैदराबाद था, बिदर वगैरह इन कर्नाटका हैदराबाद था वो। तो उसके जो प्रॉपर्टीज़ है उसके ऊपर जो गवर्नमेंट है उन लोग उसके ऊपर हावी हो गए। दे नॉट डोंट मेक इट ईजी, यू नो हाउ मच दैट रेड टेपिज्म, बहुत मुश्किल है ना वो निकालना पेपर्स वगैरह। और जब आपको कोई नहीं देना चाह रहा तो और मुश्किल हो जाती है। एंड यू नीड मनी टू गेट दोज रिकॉर्ड्स आउट, एंड इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ देम डोंट हैव मनी। सो उसमें क्या हो रहा है, बीच में लैंड ग्रैबर्स वगैरह आके एडवांटेज ले लेके उन लोग दे आर कलूडिंग विद गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स वगैरह, कुछ भी कर ले रहे हैं, बेच दे रहे हैं उन लोग। और सो दैट्स माई रोल नाउ, बिकॉज नाउ आई एम ट्राइंग टू गेट ऑल द फैमिली टुगेदर अंडर वन रूफ, and a lot of them have come under me. So initially there were about 4,000 people in a society. Then I realized in a court you can't just go by oral. So I started collecting papers. I got about 2,000 signatures, and then now I'm in the process of making them legally valid. So we have about 900 signatures which are notarized and on stamp paper and everything, acknowledging me as the ninth Nizam of the Asif Jai dynasty, and to represent them in court. And then there's a separate group which is of the seventh Nizam. Seventh Nizam was the last ruler, and they feel everything came to the seventh ruler, and the seventh ruler's children should divide the properties, not from the previous Nizam. You get my point? So the seventh people also, seventh descendants, seventh Nizam's descendants also have joined me. About 90 of them have signed me. In fact, they are like big-hearted enough to tell me that if I get something, they will give me a solid share out of it, and I reduce that share just to a working level kind of a thing. I mean, initially I have to put up the money, but I told them I'm a bachelor and I don't need money for myself, and I just need what I spend. So I'm doing that for the 7 people, but for the 1 to 6 Nizams, you know, up to 1 to 6 Nizam, I'm doing it to them as a service. And they're backing me in very, very large numbers. So the majority of them are with me. There are very few people for the opposite side who's trying to claim the properties on his own as if it's, you know, the dynasty still exists. Like you get it from father to son kind of a thing. It doesn't happen that way. India is a democracy now, and we go by, for Muslims, Sharia is applicable. Sharia means like all brothers get equal and girls have a separate kind of a share. But brothers are all equal if you are from the same footing. So it doesn't go to one person like it used to do once upon a time. And there are many things they have to understand. And it's not like father to son, because the last person who died, Mukarram Jah, who was considered the 8th Nizam, was only a titular Nizam because he never ruled. The 7th Nizam himself was a titular ruler. Before that, he was a real king, but only for a short time. Last 19 years of his life, he was, you know, an Indian citizen, maybe a governor for some time, but he was an Indian citizen. The very first Nizam, he designated the founder who set the rules. He designated his daughter, Khairunissa's son, Muzaffar, as a successor. But even what the Nizam says does not happen, because if you're not powerful enough, somebody will go through you. Now, the first Nizam had a son called Nasir Jung. And Nasir was trying to overthrow his father. He was even in jail. So when his father died, he took over the throne. Though his father, the founder, he wanted his grandson. But it doesn't work that way. Whoever is powerful gets the throne. And in Islam, there is only one thing. I mean, suppose a powerful king defeats another king, Nobody can stop him. But if all that, the power is not being used in an unfair way, the only thing Islam suggests is ijma. Like even when the Prophet passed away, his successor Abu Bakr Siddiqui, who happens to be ancestor of the Nizams, he was designated as the successor of the Prophet, which is the best example Muslims can take. He was designated as the successor and through ijma. Ijma means consensus. And after that he named someone and they continued 2 generations by consensus, not by father to son. Even the Prophet had only a daughter. The bloodline of the Prophet is only to the daughter. There's no such thing as son, has to be special, because why would God give him, a punishment of having a daughter if having a daughter is a bad thing? You've got to give him a son. So obviously that thing, the son idea is like created by, powerful people just to take advantage of a certain situation. So that thing is there. And then the last Nizam also designated his grandson. And he was a king then. Now there's no king. So the only possibilities for the family to get together and decide who they want as a leader. Nothing to do with India, nothing to do with any law. A family who's royal, and they're all certified royals because they all belong to a trust which, they benefit from. So they are scrutinized and given some badges and, ID cards. So those people are backing me. And the majority is with me, and they've signed it on paper, and I'm supposed to take them forward.